Still gotta get like a trumpet or a horn or something. I almost knocked over the camera again. Yeah. Hopefully we don't actually knock it over like last time, but I gotta get some fanfare going or like a marching band. Maybe that's what we'll do. Hire a little band to come play around us. Whew. But welcome to the first ever stream of 2026. At least, well, technically second, but first ever one for a major set. This is Burst Protocol, so it's a bit different than obviously the usual. We do have a full booster box to open that'll come at a later time, but this is more based on a lot of the loot we got from OTS stores. It's a big shout out to Gamers World and Chupacabra Games for sending in all this stuff and helping us get all the cards we needed. Hooked us up on a bunch of stuff, sleeves included, so we got a lot of good deals on a lot of the cards and a lot of like really good pulls. If you're wondering why Emergency Teleport's here, that came from an OTS pack. They just threw that one in for free, so I did need a couple extra copies, so this one is not Burst Protocol. It is an OTS pack teleport, but it's still Gamers World loot all the same. Hey, what's going on, Jason? All right, without further ado, let's jump right in. I also have a lot of deck boxes over here, so as we get loot for a bunch of decks, we're going to be sleeving them up, but also getting them all set for the various deck profiles and just kind of cores that they all go into. So let's start off with number one. They aren't really organized by anything. It's mostly just hollows and commons that we needed for specific decks. Move the light on for this. What does that make it? Ooh, that does make it better. Perfect. All right, starting off, we got Conduction Warrior Plasma Magnum. It's like the coolest name for a card ever. I only got one. I thought I got two. Just needs 2 Earth Rocks. We got a Conduction Warrior Linear Magnum Plus Minus. Again, one of the coolest names for a card ever. 3 Boral Reboots. We only need 1 for the deck, but I want to get that. A lot of these are going to be like 1 or 2 ofs, but the full playset is very much going to come in handy. Super BES Metal Slave. We did get 4 of those, just so I can try and get multiple cores going, because I do have a couple decks I want to splash in BES into, mostly machine related, but still I want to get as many of those copies as I can. GMX Velox, got the full playset. Night-Winged Cleric for the Assault Mode stuff. Forgot to get that. I do have the Assault Mode core. Funny enough, it's pretty much all the Assault Mode related cards, not the Synchros themselves. Triss Boral Dragon, we'll put that in the Rockets pile. GMX Researcher Saland. Return Dino Deneen. We only needed 2 copies, so thankfully that's all we got. And Elf Node Power Patron. Very cool looking bird. All right. Time for the sleeving portion. So we'll try and cover each deck as we go through them. So obviously, got some Magnum Warrior stuff. This is the box. Yes! I was going to say, I see a copy of Imperium Magnum in here. So slide these 2 suckers into there. Rockets, everything pretty much already has the sleeve set. It's just everything else will get sleeved separately and put into a general pile. But here we go. Here is the sleeve for the 1 copy of Triss Boral we need. Yes, do play IRL quite a bit. Mostly remote duel streams, or just jumping on other people's remote duel hangouts and kind of just going from there, but I do have a couple OTS stores I'm trying to show up to a little bit more often, just to kind of join in, so that's been fun. There it is, the very end of the deck, of course. I was trying to figure out, where does Boral Reboot go? Well, probably with the other traps. Oops. All right. Put that aside over here. Now to get sleeving for the rest of the stuff. Not sure if I want to wait for Breach World to come out before doing the new Rocket deck profile, but kind of cross that bridge when we get there. Did I go? Okay, it did. I was going to say, I hope I grabbed the Dino Wrestler deck, because a lot of this GMX stuff, that's going to be the new thing we're splashing in there. Place you over here. Night-Winged Cleric. I got to get a deck box going for the Assault Mode stuff, too. I don't think we really have a... I was kind of back and forth on some deck profiles, so I don't think we really have anything solid there yet. Oop. Almost forgot the BES stuff. And of course we all have these extra sleeves. Make use of those once we really run out of the regular sleeves. But for the most part, I think we should be stocked up on card sleeves. Oh, another Trisporal snuck on through. And we'll get these stashed into the binders. All right, where's Dino Wrestlers? There we go. Woo. I was gonna say, it's took a little bit of a break to get all the bunch of decks going and also work. But now that we're finally back in action, uh-oh, we do not have enough sleeves for Dino Wrestler. At least for the extra deck. Find a couple here. Okay, perfect. All right, let's see if we can organize these. I need 2 Velox and the rest of these guys. So I'll just... The other Velox we don't need, we can just put over here. And now to start sleeving up guys. That should be enough sleeves, at least for the extra deck. But very excited to start splashing in GMX into the Dino Wrestlers. I know it's been a while since we've updated the profile, but really liking the direction we're going here, so. Very excited to see where we can take this deck. Might need a bigger table. I realize I'm running out of room here. Ooh. One thing I will know, Return Dino Deneen is not a GMX card by name, but certainly is by effect. It does add a GMX monster from deck to hand. And it does show up in the Salandi? Does show up in the artwork of Researcher as well. Let me make sure I have the right. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Let's get a bit cramped with all these decks we gotta organize. All right, Nightwing, you can go over here. All right, on to part 2. IKEA trip. Probably just a bigger dining room table in general. Although there are some decent furniture stores nearby, but I like the one we got. I'll have to show off some, actually I could probably, it's gonna, there is a, if you can see this is like phased into it. I don't know how this happened, but it was a Grand Creator set. I guess just the sun hit it and it baked the Konami logo onto the table. So that's why I don't want to get rid of it, because it's branding. It has the logo on it. But if you want a deep Sir Blackson lore there, yeah, this has got to be early 2022. I just had a Grand Creators booster box sitting out, and somehow the Konami logo just imprinted into my table. That's very cool. All right, on to our next batch of cards. We got 3 Borreload Fatal Flare Dragon. Only need 2, but still pretty awesome. Oh, another Nightwing Cleric. Didn't realize I got 4. Elf Note Fortuna. Elf Note Welcome Home. Getting the Elf Note core built up. Not sure what I'm going to do with them, but I do want to splash them into other decks if I can. Jade Dragon Mech. For all the other Dragon Mechs out there. We got Vermilion. There's a water one. I forget what that one's called. But now we have the Jade one. Vermilion. Jason, if you could look up, what's the water Dragon Mech? The Synchro. Completely forget that one. Someone's able to look it up, I'd be appreciative. Ah, more of the Magna Wars. We got Telusion. I'll put you over here. Genora, the Power Patron of Tuning, which is like the coolest looking card ever. Look how small its text is. It's got so much to say. Oh wait, again, like Nightwing, we have more Telusions. I didn't realize I had so many. 2 playsets of Derringer Core. Again, probably don't need the full playsets, but if I do ever build like a pure BES deck, we've got that covered. See you over here. So I'm only able to get one copy of Applied Experiment number 55 for GMX, but that's okay. Take what we can get. Junk Warrior Assault Mode. I had them mixed up. We did get a full play set. So he's going to go with Nightwing Cleric in a second. Along with one of my favorites, Synchros and Assault Modes, Crimson Blader. Such a cool one. And then, of course, for all the Lestat, Navy Dragon Mech. That's the one. Thank you. Thank you, Jason. I couldn't think of the color for some reason. I was like, it's not aqua. I couldn't come to me. Tragic. And then for all the Lestat YuGiOh fans, we are building our own Dark Lord deck. So we got 3 copies of Dehuddy. Yes, that is one I need 3 copies of. I was trying to remember. It's like, how many do I need of you? His design looks really cool. After years of making profiles and going, oh, I don't think that's the one, we finally have a Dark Lord template that I think might work out pretty well. So if Lestat's watching, be alert. I am assembling my cards as we speak. Do have a nice little brick here of cards. All right. So let's get these guys sleeved up. Aha! There's the rockets. It's getting tricky with how many cards are flying around here. Where? Okay, cool. The rockets will definitely be complete by the end of the stream, which will be very nice. And if you want to see the deck in action, we'll have a nice little announcement at the end of the stream. Hopefully Lestat can tune in so I can share it with him. Thought you already had a dark. I had a core, but never I kept making like templates, but never really liked them. I would always undo or just go back to the drawing board. So after the first protocol stuff came out, I was like, okay, this will definitely help us. Kind of got my footing underneath me and figured out what I really wanted to make the deck with and what sort of cards would go into it. So now we have a full profile and template that we can work with and a vast majority of the cards I need to get the deck going. Not all of them, but I'd say like 75 to 80%. I gotta check the binders to make sure because I'm trying to figure out how many copies of Ishal I have or... That sleeve just break? Yeah, this card just went straight through. Okay, I gotta be careful with that one. Crimson Blader just went straight through the sleeve. Like I just pushed it through and it went out the bottom without having to try. That's unfortunate. I wasn't trying to break it. Just gotta be careful with that one. Boop. All right, so we need 2 Telusion. So I'll leave 2 of you to the side. We do need to sleeve all 4, but 2 of them will go into the Magnet Warrior box. Stat's probably busy being a dad. That is true. He's got a future of Dark Lord players to raise and train. A new generation of duelists. A generation next, you could say. I'm very happy for him. But hopefully he tunes in. I think he said he was going to try and stop by, so... And of course, all the Elf Note stuff. Again, I know new cards are coming out with each set, so... Hopefully the deck gets its chance to shine. Some capacity, but... For the most part, we'll try and figure out just sort of archetypes or decks to splash it into. So we can make our own, but... Very excited to start grabbing like newer archetypes, potentially profile. I know we usually are profiling them much after the fact, just so cards are a little bit more affordable. Or after the ban list at least, so we can showcase the deck at its current / full potential. I'm very excited for Elf Note. I definitely want to do something with the deck. There we go. And then which box was Magnet Warriors? Yes! Okay, good. 2 Telusions going there. And then our 1 copy of Experiment 55, almost fell. We'll slide into, that's not the Dino Wrestler pile. This one is. Missing another spell. I wonder what that could be. I'll have to look it up. What am I missing here? Oh, I know what I'm missing. Okay, that's right. Can't believe I didn't get a copy of that. Oh well. All right, onto the bulk pile. So this will be most of the commons and just generic cards, and then we'll get into the bigger hollows later. Not all of it is Burst Protocol. There are a couple of other snazzy cards, but for the most part, the supers and commons and a few ultras will be Burst Protocol related. So let's get the main one out of the way. Emergency Teleport from Tournament Pack 29. Very cool. All right. 1 super and 2 ultras from this pile. Got Zaylin the Shackled Dragon, Archmage Non-Finito, and Elf Note Seraphim Strelitzia. That was a bit of a tough one to pronounce, but still pretty cool looking artwork. It's a plant. Interesting. Zaylin the Shackled Dragon. Nice for cool tune. I do also want to start collecting my Archmage stuff. Do want to start getting into a little bit more of the fusion archetypes for a few other decks, but I want to at least grab some Archmage stuff while I can. All right. Did you hear they were bringing Fire Red and Leaf Green to the Switch? I did see that yesterday. Very exciting. That's next. I think they said it goes live after the. Is it the Pokemon Direct or the Nintendo Direct? But next Friday, after their little Direct, we'll be able to play Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Switch. Very exciting. All right, for the commons, Hollow Rocket Dragon. Not going into this profile, but at least wanted to grab the full playset. Looks really cool too. GMX Chairman Kimridge. Very nice. Rocket Detonator, full playset, but we only need 1. So I'll put you off to the side. DDD Alfred the Divine Sage King. Again, just need 1. We do have the DDD deck off to the side here. GMX Alos, we'll take 2. 3 Dark Lord Gold Gullet, we need 2. Full playset double interlock. As you can tell, we only need 2 of those guys. Same with GMX Associate Noma. 3 Dark Lord Dance. 3 Fist Arm Dragon. Might splash this. Might revisit Arm Dragons. Not sure what else I'm going to put into the deck, but got some ideas of what we can do with them moving forward. And then, of course, the new Vic Viper Type L. And full playset of Boss on Parade. I always think of Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine. Still a funny one. Just funny. Boss on Parade. All right. Start organizing these guys. Okay, perfect. There's my gold gullets. You can go into the Dark Lord box, along with the 3 copies of Dance. So that gets that done. Double interlock. Rocket Detonator. We'll get you guys prepped into rockets. Perfect. That's the sleeve for Detonator. And I need to grab the 2 sleeves for, there we go, double interlock. Perfect. All right. What sleeves are we? Oh, I see what we're missing. We're missing quite a few sleeves here. Wait, no, we're not. This is the right amount. Okay, I had it backwards. I was like, how many copies of this card do I need? I only need 1. All right. Slide those 2 copies of Alos into here. So we have our extra deck almost finished for Dino Wrestler. And then all of you guys can sleeve up right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and perfect 5. Ooh, a quarter century in this deck, I should say, excuse me. It's like, what shiny card is that? So that should do it for the Dino Wrestler deck. Still have a few more cards to snag. There's the DDD one. We'll get Alfred set up, but we're getting close to finishing up Dino Wrestler, so stay tuned for a new updated copy of that. All right. Where was I? Oh, yes. All right, on to the big ticket items. So from here on out, we're getting into the really good stuff. Yes, we do actually have that in the new Dino Wrestler deck. Yeah, I can tell you what it's called right here. Was that Duelist Alliance that got us that? Steamed Sabersaurus. No, it was Alliance Insight. Very cool. So now your Rescue Rabbit deck can just float into more Sabersaurus. All right. Like I said, from here on out, it's big ticket items. Only the best of the best. So let's dive in. Starting with one copy of Dark Lord Evening Star. Absolutely fantastic. Boop. One Condemned Dark Lord. Boop. Oh wait, don't have to sleeve these because they're going straight into the deck. 2 Rocket Loaders. Don't worry, we have our third, just in another pile. Then 2 copy of No Punk Rising Scale. I forgot to get the Punk deck out. I'm working on. So these 2 can go off to the side over here. They'll be taken care of off stream. All right, so let's sleeve up those 2 Rocket Loaders. So as you can see, getting more Dark Lord stuff, even the high ticket items. There we go. I think just 2 cards left and the Rocket deck is good to go. All right, Dark Lord pile over here. Slide these guys on in. Perfect. All right, on pile 2 of 3, this is for the Gamers World loot. Again, big shout out to them for all the stuff they got secured for us. We got a lot of really good stuff. All right, next we got Mental Tekulika, Combined Creation. That leaves us just 1 deck, or 1 card, excuse me, left to fully finish the Memento deck. Dark Lord Morningstar, didn't realize I already had one, but still, looks really awesome. 2, the first Dark Lord. 1 more copy of Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Gonna try and slide some DPE, like Fusion Destiny engines into some decks. So get ready for that. And then a full playset of Kashtira Unicorn. We'll go into the Pearly deck. Do I have it out here? I was trying to find it earlier and I couldn't find it, so I might have actually brought it out here. I did. Oh. I actually didn't need to sleeve up these unicorns because I already have the sleeves for them. Also found a copy of another Pearly Trap that I needed. Thankfully. Let's go ahead and get you out. Place you over here. Okay, there we go. 3 sleeves for the unicorns. Go into the Kashtira Pearly deck. Whoop. Very excited about that. Where do you store all of these decks? I have little, like storage bins. I have a couple closets in the apartment, but one of them is just dedicated to YuGiOh bins and containers. So a lot of the storage stuff just goes into that closet, just so that way all the cards are secured. That way when we're ready to build out the decks, we can just kind of get those out, but have them secured into 2 bins, one for decks that are super close to being done, others that are probably going to take some time, but we'll get there. There's the extra deck. So now we're super close to getting this finished. I think we just need some Castor Fenrir's. We're good to go. Okay, so you two can go over here. Whoops. I believe this box is for mementos. That it is. Perfect. Already had a sleeve too, so that's perfect. Get that into that deck box. But this one is just missing a single card. Just need our 3rd copy of Bone Party. And we'll be good to go. All right. And finally, the last of the Gamer World stuff. Fancy high-end cards, part 3. We got MX Saber Invoker, our first copy. Very cool. Hopefully this guy comes off the ban list soon. Definitely got some uses for him. 2 copies of Centurion Primera. Turns out I only needed 1, but I'll take a few extras. Might be able to build some additional cores moving forward. Okay, I did get 3 copies of this. Nice. 2 more Allure of Darkness. I had a 4th copy. I used a full playset for Dark Lords, and then I had a 4th one left over. So now this gets us another playset. I have to splash that into another dark focused deck moving forward, but did get a full playset as well of Swarthchild Infinity Dragon for the Tachyon stuff. Start grabbing more of that, but I have some ideas for some rank 8 strategies with all the new Tachyon cards, but wanted to at least start getting some of the bigger ticket items like Infinity Dragon. Yeah, you guys are in actual sleeves, so you're good. 1 Primera, yeah, for the Centurion deck. Trying to keep it as pure as possible, but do have some other cards just to kind of help out. Oh yeah, I did have 2 copies. Very nice. Slide you into there. Perfect. There's Centurion. All right. Now for the Chupacabra Games side of the loot. Big shout out to them for sending in obviously all this stuff. Very much comes in handy here as this does complete the Rocket deck, as they had exactly 1 copy of Rocket Loader to complete the playset. And of course, 1 copy of Boral Shroud. So let's get out the Rocket Loader as well. Woo! So very grateful to them. They had exactly what we needed. I was a bit nervous. I was like, oh, I really hope you have it. But they had exactly 1 of each. It's hard to get out of that sleeve for a second. All right. Where is sleeve 1? And drum roll, please. Sleeve 2. It's both of you sleeved up. And with that, the Rocket deck is now fully updated and good to go. Thank you, Burst Protocol. So again, we'll make the announcement at the end of the stream as to why it was so important to get this Rocket deck built in time for next Friday. Obviously to also have a future profile, but probably won't have that until a little bit later. I want to wait till Breach Boral comes out, but we'll get to that towards the end. Heat Wave. Very cool. Again, just collection stuff. That's probably not... I think, no, that's not on the... That's Cold Wave is the one that's banned. I think Heat Wave is off the ban list. But these 2 I just found on the ground. Someone had just left them outside, so... Got these 2 cards, A New Home, Macros, Cosmos, and Shrink. Quarter Century too, so it's very shiny. But free cards. Very happy. I'm sure we'll find a deck for them. Mermail Abyssgaios, for obviously the Mermail deck. I'll put it off to the side. Gimmick Puppet Fiendish Knight. I forgot to get the Gimmick Puppet deck out. Pendulum Witch. Oh yeah, it'll go with the common bulk. Iron Thunder, just because Solemn Judgments had 1, so I want to get more copies of that. Tistina, the divinity that defies darkness. Say that 5 times fast. That's cool. Scrap Dragon, just get more Scrap Dragons. DDD Marksman King Tell. 2 Malice P March Hares, like it's our playset. A nice Petite Moth. Another just shiny quarter century. So get these moving. My Malice deck. The container's hard to open. White binder got banned, so I gotta take her out of the deck, sadly. But she'll go back into the binder and we'll find another Link 3 to slide in for her. Not the end of the world, but we did already have 1 March Hare. So now we can add these 2 to get the full playset. Oh, I did have 2 Chessy Cat. For some reason I thought I only had 1. We do need 1 more though to complete the playset. How many? No, I only have 2. I gotta get more. Perfect. We'll find a substitute for White Binder. It's my favorite too of the Malice links, but that's okay. Alright, Tistina will go into the Eldritch deck. Rank 10 stuff. We'll get you out of its sleeve into the one we have. Perfect. Super cool artwork as well. Looks like a Final Fantasy boss almost. Outside an OTS store, like just on the ground on the sidewalk. Somebody had just left him there. Or didn't want him, I guess. Remote duel of older... Would you and Lestat ever consider doing a remote duel of older formats like GOAT or Edison? I'd be into it. I don't know much about it. I'd have to look into and research those formats and like what cards, and I'd have to build out a deck for it, but could work. There are places that do old tournaments for it still, which is nice, but definitely would be interested. All right. The remaining stuff, we got 2 Garura Wings of Resonant Life. I got 2 of them. Very cool. So one of these will go into Dark Lords, the other will go into a future Super Poly engine that we splash into something. Spoilers, there's Super Poly in my Dark Lord deck. There we go. Slide you into there. Along with all the other Super Poly targets we have. And then you'll just go over here, next deck that needs it. Sky Striker Ace 0. So cool looking. Just absolutely awesome. So that'll go into the updated Sky Striker deck. Waiting for, obviously, all the other imports to come in. Who abandons a macro? I don't know. Maybe they already had a full play set. But either way, we got homes for the 2 cards. We'll make use of them. And then for the Fiendsmiths, we got Tract and Lacrima, the Crimson Tears. It also have these little like tab holders as well, but want to get those slid out. So we'll start grabbing the rest of our Fiendsmith stuff. I already have a copy of Tract, but we'll need to get 1 more for the playset. And then obviously we'll need to get our copies of Engraver. And of course more sleeves, courtesy of Chupacabra Games. So we'll use these for a few other decks. Whew. But I think that does it. So we'll take some time to work on new announcements, stuff that we got going on. I don't have it with me. It's in the other room. But new deck profile next week. We're taking a look at the Branded Chronicles deck. Do have a bunch of tech cards thrown into there just to kind of spice things up. So next Friday at noon, we're revisiting Branded, continuing the trend of deck profiles every other week. Other big announcement part 2 is, as I mentioned before, is we do have a full, that was loud. We do have a full booster box of Burst Protocol. So if you do want to see us rip into some commons and a few other ultras and secrets, we will be doing that. Obviously need to get more of my Magnet Warrior stuff. A few other commons as well, and hopefully we can pull more cards like some of the BES support. Obviously GMX Applied Experiment 55, need to get that playset. And of course, what other cool Starlights or secrets we can snag. Maybe Forbidden Crown if we're lucky, or what is it? Fallen Dragon of White? It's the new Albaz card. I forget what it's called. Maybe that, but for sure, definitely want to get our other copy of Dark Lord Evening Star, and just any other stuff in general for the Ultras and Secrets. So that'll come at a later date. But also, as I've been teasing throughout the stream today, something's going down next Friday. As you remember, the very first remote duel that we ever uploaded onto this channel, or that I was ever a part of, was the Lestat one. It was Rockets versus Dark Lords. If you want to look back, all the way back in 2021. Almost 5 years. Definitely closing in on 4.5, but time flies when you're dueling. But next Friday, because there's been Dark Lord support in Burst Protocol and Rocket support in Burst Protocol, we're going back for a rematch. Dark Lords v Rockets rematch part 2. That'll be happening next Friday on the stat stream. More details to come from him. I'll probably make an announcement on his Instagram and YouTube, and I'll just repost from there. But very excited about this. Wanted to get this deck finished in time just for that. So if you want to see the full Rocket deck in action ahead of the profile next Friday, definitely next Friday, but times to be announced on the stat, YuGiOh's Instagram and YouTube. So definitely keep an eye out on him, but super excited for that. Getting back into the remote duels, so I'll definitely bring a few other decks as well, just to get things rolling. But Rockets v Dark Lords coming back for a rematch. I think we were tied. Both of us had won at least 1 or 2 duels each. Lestat might have taken the match, but either way, coming in for another round. Got all my cards ready, so get ready for another round of Rockets and Dark Lords. That'll be coming next Friday for sure. So new deck profile, new remote duel, and potentially new stream, but gonna continue the trend of mail days every other week and deck profiles on the off Fridays. Again, that's very loud. How heavy is this? It's like bricks in here. Jeez. Really load up their packs, I guess. But in any case, I've been SirBlax97. Thank you all for tuning in for this Burst Protocol stream. If you want to see the real box break, we'll get that announced sometime in the near future. So stay tuned for all those announcements. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time.